My insane neighbor broke into my house to save me and left with broken ribs. When I first met my neighbor Gertrude, she told me my garden gnomes were too kitschy for our hoa. Since then, she's made it her life's work to micromanage every corner of our block. We're talking about a woman who called the fire department because someone lit a candle too close to flammable mulch. Over the next year, Gertrude's intrusions ramped up. She'd leave a typed note on my door with bullet-pointed suggestions if my lawn was mowed slightly unevenly. She was practically a walking PowerPoint presentation of unsolicited advice. One morning, I caught her rearranging my garbage cans because she thought they weren't at an optimal curb angle. And don't even get me started on Max, my sweet, barky Shih Tzu. She filed 3 noise complaints against him in a single week, once claiming his barking disrupted her yoga practice. The real breaking point came during the Great Trash Can incident. On a windy Wednesday, Gertrude decided to rescue my recycling bin from a fate worse than death, blowing into the street. That might have been neighborly, except she rifled through the contents first. She knocked on my door that evening, holding an empty pizza box. She chastised me for single-handedly killing the planet. I asked her to leave, and she responded with a 15-minute lecture on the dangers of microplastics. I thought I'd seen it all by the time last Friday rolled around. I'd taken a day off to binge-watch my favorite series in peace, even turning my phone off to avoid distractions. Unfortunately, this also meant I missed the 6 texts and 4 voicemails Gertrude left asking why my curtains were closed all day. By 2 p.m., she was convinced something terrible had happened to me. Through my sheer negligence, I had inadvertently set Gertrude on a crusade. Unable to mind her own business, she first called the police to report suspicious shadows in my living room. When the cops didn't take her seriously, she took matters into her own hands, literally. I was mid-binge, elbows deep in a bowl of popcorn when I heard the unmistakable sound of shattering glass. Rushing to the living room, I found Gertrude halfway through my broken window, wielding a flashlight and a broom like a suburban SWAT team. "Don't worry, I'll save you," she shouted, before tumbling headfirst over the sill and landing in a heap on my carpet. Chaos erupted instantly. Max bolted from his bed, barking up a storm, which sent Gertrude into full panic mode. "Control your attack, dog," she shrieked, swinging the broom wildly. She managed to knock over my coffee table, spilling soda and sending my remote skittering under the couch. I yelled at her to get out, but she wasn't listening. "I'm deprogramming you," she cried, genuinely convinced I was being held hostage. Before I could process that absurdity, she charged toward Max, who yelped and darted out of reach. Instinctively, I grabbed her arm to stop her, but she wrestled free, her broom connecting squarely with my stomach. Furious now, I ripped the broom from her hands, tossing it aside. Gertrude lunged for it, but her foot landed on a patch of spilled soda. She skidded, arms pinwheeling, before colliding with my bookcase. The whole thing teetered ominously before crashing down on top of her with a thunderous bang. Books, knickknacks, and a framed photo of my parents scattered everywhere. Gertrude howled in pain, clutching her side. That's when the cops finally showed up, alerted by the deafening racket. They entered to find me standing in the middle of a wrecked living room, Gertrude writhing on the floor, and Max barking like his life depended on it. One officer helped lift the bookcase while another questioned me about the scene. "She broke in," I explained, gesturing to the shattered window. "I didn't ask to be saved." Gertrude, still clutching her ribs, managed to gasp. It was a rescue mission. He was being brainwashed. The officers exchanged looks, trying not to laugh. They called an ambulance to take her to the hospital, but not before issuing her a stern warning about trespassing. Now, Gertrude is nursing a pair of broken ribs, and the HOA has issued a memo reminding residents not to engage in unauthorized vigilantism. My insurance is fighting her attempt to bill me for her medical expenses, and I'm investing in reinforced window locks. Max, my little hero, has been enjoying a steady diet of celebratory treats. Gertrude's been uncharacteristically quiet since the incident. No notes, no lectures, no unsolicited advice. I can't say I miss her, but part of me wonders if she's plotting her next move. Until then, I'll savor the peace and quiet.